Hello there, and welcome back to another episode in the A.N.I series, where we ask the question, how well does the figure hold up without any of its accessories? And today we'll be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Ultimate Miles Morales. Now, my knowledge of Miles Morales isn't too deep. I only really know him from the Into the Spider-Verse movies, and I think some episodes of some of the animated series. I think that was the one from Disney, the Ultimate Spider-Man show with Drake Bell as the voice actor. So, not a strong well of knowledge that I have. But besides that, I mean, I've always liked his costume. It's probably one of the top 10, top 5 best costume designs, I think. And it's done pretty well here, so let's just get a quick look at it. So let me just straighten them out here. And let's take a quick zoom in at the upper torso. So all of the web lines are just tampoed on, so there's no raised sculpt, but that's kind of usual for Marvel Legends Spider-Man figures. But I have to say it looks pretty clean. I don't think there's a little nick right over here, but other than that, everything's pretty clean. The painting on the hands is about as well as you'd expect, and it goes all the way around. And yeah, other than that, it's just a black base body with the tampos being heavily located at the top. But I have to say, it looks pretty good. In terms of actual sculpt, it looks mostly great, but the area that I know others have pointed out, the area of contention comes here in his waist, where the way that it's set, if you try to get him in a standing pose, has it protruding out the sides to a crazy extent. And even if you pull it down, I mean, it looks better. Now it has more of a flow, but now you have these gaps. But of course, once you get them into a pose, you don't really notice it too much. But it's kind of a bummer that they couldn't have that well sculpted, just while you have them standing there. But it is what it is. I don't think there's any real way to hide it. I have tried turning it, but you can't really. Yeah, like that's. Yeah, I don't think that changed much. But yeah, no. Yeah, I guess it's just one of the main flaws of this figure. But yeah, let's just move on to articulation. So, starting at the head. Let me just angle this up. He has a ball joint at the top of the head on a disc. Oh, well, that just came off. A disc hinge that goes that far forward, that far back, and with the actual head on, it goes about that far forward and that far back. And you don't really get any angles to side, like barely. But you do get a swivel at the head. So, pretty alright articulation, but not the best. And moving up to the arms here, we have a butterfly joint that gets about that far back and about that far forward. And you could try to angle this. That far forward. And I think that's just about as far as that's going to go. So moving on to the rest of the arm, you get a bicep swivel, which on my copy at least feels very gummy. Yeah, it's on both. Like, it's not the most reassuring joint. And I feel like if I try to... Yeah, no, I don't know. It's kind of weird. And moving on to the arm bend, you get a double joint right here, which gets you more than 90. And at the hand, you get a hinge and a swivel. So pretty standard stuff. At the upper torso, you get a ball joint, which moves about that far to the side, and about, let me just zoom a tiny bit here, but that far back, about that far forward, so nothing too crazy, but you also have this ab crunch right here, which gets him bending just over 90 and just less than 90 at the back. So overall, pretty decent. And as showed off before, there is a ball joint at the hip and a drop down, which gets a pretty decent kick up. About that far back, but you're hitting the sculpt at the back here, so just keep that in mind. And that far of a spread, an upper thigh swivel, a double jointed knee, which gets pretty far, an ankle cut, a disc that moves up here for the foot, about that much, and about this far back, and a pivot at the foot, which does everything you want there as far as pivots. So overall, I think his articulation is pretty great, though I think the only thing holding this back is, I would say, the weird sculpt going around at the hips. And it would have been nice to have a double ball joint in the neck and another one from the neck to the body, just to get this, Miles Morales more expressive. But for what it is, you can still pull off a fairly decent pose, which I'm trying real quick over here. Yeah, not one of my best poses, but yeah. Alrighty, now with a quick jump cut, we shall now move on to the accessories. So, starting off, we have not many pairs of hands, unfortunately. First off, whoops, just stand right there, please. There we go. First off, we get a left hand whip hand, a right hand whip hand, and a right fist. Not mentioning the hands already included on the figure being a left grip and a right wall crawling hand. So yeah, it's unfortunate that you don't get matching sets. That would have been pretty nice, and it used to be the standard before, but I don't know, I guess they just don't have that in the budget nowadays. In terms of other accessories, you do get a swappable head of Miles Morales, which sculpt-wise looks pretty good. And just for a quick test, we'll just pop off that head and place the Miles Morales head. And I have to say that looks pretty good. I don't know if I'll have him displayed with this head, but yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good sculpt, and yeah, enough said. And before I forget, the last accessory, a comic of Ultimate Miles Morales. Does it say, oh, if I can get it to focus better. Marvel Now issue 1. It's fairly decent print. The back is just blank, and it just has the standard Marvel Legends logo. But you can get this to fit in his hand. So we just have him grab that. And there we go. So yeah, not an accessory I think many people are gonna like, but I mean, it's decent to include, and I'm not against it. So with that, we'll be moving on to the size comparisons. First up, let me just place you right here. Let me just do some adjustments. And there we go. So first off, as usual, the SH Figure Arts Boonbonger Red. And yeah, I think that's a pretty decent height. I think this is supposed to be Miles when he's a teenager, as far as I'm aware. So I think this works out pretty well. Next up, we have the Valaverse Praetorian Guard, which has some pretty nice height advantage. Probably would be cool if you had several of these guys fighting with Miles Morales, so you could probably get into a dynamic scene. Next up, for another Spider-Man figure, we have a standard Tobey Maguire from No Way Home. And I think this is a pretty good size comparison. I'd like to use Tobey because I think he has a pretty standardized height for most Marvel Legends. So this is a pretty good comparison, I think. And here we have the Figma Gold Chip, if I can get her to stand correctly. There we go. And yeah, she has a pretty decent height advantage to him as well. And last, but definitely not least, I think this should be a pretty cool comparison. The Maximum Series Spider-Man. And I think for this would be a decent display having both him and Miles paired up. I think they're fairly good looking having them matched up. So yeah. And with that, coming down to my final conclusion, does he hold well without any of his accessories? I mean, he doesn't really come with much to begin with, so I'd say he's fine. If you can get past the sculpt, he's not too bad, but he's definitely not a figure that you're in a rush to get. That's for certain. Retail-wise, I think he's somewhere in between 25 to 30, 35 at most. And if you can find him for the lowball 25, and you really need a miles for a collection, I think he's fine. I mean, if you get him posed up, that is. If you're just having him for a vanilla pose, it's gonna look a little awkward. But if you can find him for cheaper than that, I'd say he's pretty decent. I like his accessories. I like the little comic, though I know many people won't, and aren't probably gonna have them displayed with it. But I enjoy little 1/12 scale items like that, so for me it's kind of a bonus. But yeah, with that, I think that's all I really have to say about it. Thank you for sticking around for this long, and if you want to see more content, me and my friends live stream on the channel HexHap, where we build and paint Warhammer miniatures. If that's not your style, my friend Commissar Yoraki has been posting a lot more gaming videos on his channel, so I definitely recommend seeing those. And yeah, with that, I've been a Mono in the Red, and I'll see you next time. Peace.